Chapter 3 is coming out in a few more days, so let's analyze the gameplay trailer. At the start, we see an emergency alert system that says the workforce is in danger, possibly talking about the revolution we saw in the Kissy Missy VHS tape. Then it seems like we zoom into the TV for a message. The first thing we see is Poppy's true house, as we see a stone statue of her on top of it. Her house also seems to be fabricated to look like it's outside. However, the interesting part about this is the whispering that Poppy does. This could possibly mean that we have to find a new flower. Next, we see an abandoned nursery with a few green hand puzzles. This also seems to be where we crash landed. Next, we see a red industrial room, possibly where the Playtime co-employees worked, that has a weird Playtime lever and a singular gas mask that we pick up. Next, we see the smiling critters in this chapter. This screenshot says a lot, so if you want to know more about it, go to my smiling critters analysis. However, what I didn't analyze is that these smiling critters seem to be akin to how Huggy was in the first chapter, moving after they see us. They also seem to be in a play area. We see Candy Cat in the top left corner, and Bronco following up with her, seemingly hanging, and on the right we see two more toys that are unrecognizable. Finally, above all of the critters, we see the tube where we will be chased by Dog Day as well. Next, we see a screenshot of catnap propaganda that seems to be advertising that catnap is not dangerous to kids. Next, we hear the man from the tape explaining that the prototype is his god.
Catnap. The prototype is his god.
Then we see the prototype's body. We see that the prototype has smiling critters in it. These smiling critters are Dog Day, Crafty Corn, who is very interesting because of her pendant, which is a flower, possibly hinting at when Poppy said, "Find the flower," Kicking Chicken, and what might be Piggy. He also has other monsters in him, notably Mommy Longlegs, Pug a Pillar, and Bunzo Bunny. We also see weird metal structures that carry kids' shoes in the prototype, possibly being a storage for dead kids' shoes. Now, let's look at his environment. We see multiple stalactites and stalagmites, meaning that this will most likely be in a more secretive part of the factory, and will take a long time to get to. It also might allude to the fact that the prototype will be the final boss. After that, we see a toy chained up in a prison cell, seemingly close to the prototype. This toy, which could be Dog Day. Next, we see text flash on the screen that says the children grow hungry, which is most likely hinting to Catnap being an orphan, or Huggy wanting to eat us for food because they have not had it in so long. After this, we see a weird map room where we have to do a green hand puzzle, most likely to get the purple hand that is showed right after. The purple hand seems to function as the green hand, and as a new parkour item that can help us jump across the factory. While we see this, Poppy talks about how she needs us, and how this is extremely important.
What's happening down here is bigger than all of us!
Next, we see the same TV at the beginning, with new Huggy's face on it, supporting black eyes and a wider, more hungry smile. After this, we see an electric room puzzle that seems much more refined than the one in Chapter 1. The interesting part about this, though, is the red smoke in a vat in the background, possibly meaning that we are trying to captivate it for something important. After this, we see Catnap in his long form, wailing across the screen as Poppy in a manipulative voice says that we have to take revenge on the monsters that tortured us.
Monsters who tortured you!
That leads onto the next scene where Poppy is carrying Kissy Missy, and says that they've
tortured us!
As if she's talking about herself, Kissy and us. After this, we see a phone that we know is related to some sort of rebellion against the prototype. Next, we see us going down Poppy's stairs in Chapter 1, while putting on our gas mask, while Poppy, who is presumably on our shoulder, screaming that we are coming. Possibly meaning that this is the scene before Kissy Missy is being dragged by Poppy, because we tried to save Kissy here. Next, we see us in a dark room with the green hand, seemingly in a dream sequence. We are jumping onto a random room that looks like it is reminding us of something strange. While this is happening, Poppy says that the prototype has to die for whatever this and everything is that he did.
Type has to die.
Next, we see us being chased by a contorted, scary Dog Day in the same place the smiling critters were earlier. After this, it seems like we have our gas mask on in a house, possibly meaning that that house is Poppy's house. Next, we see us being launched into a vent, possibly to see Catnap. After this, we see a much better view of Catnap in the previous screenshot, in a darker red room where he is in his long form, standing idle. Then the trailer ends by fading to black after showing the chapter's name, Deep Sleep. So, let's conclude everything we've learned from this chapter. We see how we swap between the green and purple hand throughout the chapter, unlocking new movement and puzzles. We know that we will be chased by Catnap, Dog Day, and the prototype throughout this chapter. We also know that Poppy will be with us for most of the chapter and helping us locate her house, Kissy Missy, and the prototype. We also know that the prototype will also be the main final boss of the chapter because of the cave he was in. Well, that's pretty much it. Make sure to like and subscribe and love yourself. Make sure to eat and drink water as well. Even if it's been tough, I believe in you and know that you can make it through whatever you are going through. You should be proud of yourself. I am too.